online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2. Russell Brand.
You're listening to Russell Brand on Radio 2. I can hear something strange in my brain, unless I have literally gone insane in my brain.
On the end of that song, there's a weird little sample.
Do you think so? They did that to us on purpose.
I don't know.
Do you think to encourage the idea that we are insane in the brain?
Possibly.
Well, it certainly worked with me. I don't trust my own thoughts anymore. So, for the next 2 hours, we'll be talking to you and stuff. I'm here with Matthew Morgan. Hello, Matthew. You all right, dear?
Hello, Russell Brand.
What are you doing? In charge of the switches, I suppose. I stopped this radio show going wrong.
I've written a list. I've got a pen.
Right, well, you seem to be in great shape. Trevor Locke's here as well. Are you all right?
I am, yeah, a little bit chilly. Been cold today.
Trevor, you are the most English person I've ever met. You respond by telling us about your body temperature.
I don't
it's
like
a polite
the English,
inquiry just to establish you as a character in the radio show.
A character? Is that all I am? I'm a character in the radio show?
If that! That's an exaggeration.
How dare you? I'm a three-dimensional person.
I don't know about that, mate. I don't know what dimension it is you're living in. I don't know how you'll occupy three of them. So, over the course of this show, we've got a lot of things to discuss with you. Right, firstly... Oh, our podcast is #1 podcast in the country. Now, nay say... Was you going to applaud, Matthew?
Oh, I was going
I've never seen any...
Is that big-headed?
No, it's not big-headed. It's actual enthusiasm for your work. Something I never thought I'd witness.
Yeah!
All right. So we are #1 podcast on this island. So, you know, that's good, isn't it?
We've beaten Ricky Gervais. We have beaten him.
Isn't he on holiday?
Ricky
Yes,
Gervais
he's
is on holiday. Okay, all right. Well, that, you know, let's not let that undermine our achievements. Ricky Gervais is a great man, and even on holiday, you know, he could probably have sold some form of podcast of that holiday. So, this week, how long's his holiday?
I don't know. I hope it's going to be prolonged.
Could be a couple of weeks. Yeah. Strikes me as a sort of man would have a couple of week holiday. For the next couple of weeks, we're likely to be the #1 podcast. So if you keep downloading these podcasts, we could remain at the summit of this chart. Now, when we first thought of becoming a #1 podcast, back when we were on Six Music, we always said that if that day ever came, we would, I think we said something along the lines of we'd get an ice cream van and park it in a roundabout and then distribute free ice cream to people. If anyone can remember exactly what we said, then remind us, because we're going to do it. Also, if you want to add to that idea, perhaps elaborate and add, you know, foibles of your own to the notion, then let us know, because we'll do it at some point, I don't know, this week or something, will we? Because Ricky Gervais will get back off holiday and we'll be back to mediocrity in no time. So let's, for God's sake, let's suck the blood out of this opportunity, shall we? So yeah, send us your ideas. Also, what will I be discussing? Right, yeah, here's a few things I want to mention. Matt, in his blog on the BBC Radio 2 website, has attacked me for having a personal trainer. Why have you done this?
Well, it's not just a personal trainer. I thought that was all right. It's the fact that...
I'm trying to improve myself. Gym ball!
Russell has a gym ball.
It's called a Swiss ball, as a matter of fact, is what it is. And what it actually helps me to improve my core strength. Now, if anyone here wants to see me weak at my core...
How many bounces can you do on it?
when I'm in particularly fine form, I can keep it up for 10 minutes.
Woo!
I sit on that ball and I do, you know, conventional exercises. But ever since you said that I will look like a surprised starling who's laid a baffling egg, or wherever it is you said, it's made me feel uncomfortable about doing it. Plus, because I thought about it, like Matt wrote in the blog, oh, Russell's got that gym ball, he sits on it all confused, and undermined the masculinity of my personal trainer and I, and our relationship. And as it happens, he's quite a butch fella, Steve.
But isn't that embarrassing and all too personal that a man comes around your house? What does he do when you're on the ball?
He's got shouting encouragement, mate.
What room do you do this in?
I'll take the coffee table out of the little room with a telly in it, and I'll do it in there.
Tragic.
It's not tragic. There's nothing more beautiful than a couple of men getting fit together. Sometimes we hold each other.
So he doesn't do anything?
He's fit already. He's a big muscle-bound brute. You should see him. He's gorgeous.
What does he... How long does this last?
Right, he comes round, right, then there's a bit where I lay on the ground.
What? Why can't you just pay him normally?
There's a bit of cuddling goes on. What happens, I lay down on the ground, he warms me up by pushing that ball.
What?
He warms me out. It's like, stop.
By rapid.
Don't cheapen this.
Like a dolphin that's out of the sea, pours water over you.
I'm all confused, little aquatic mammal, just trying to get some comfort. No, I lay down, he pushes that ball down towards me and I have to resist it. He goes, resist it, resist it. I go, I'm resisting, baby, I'm resisting.
Really?
As soon as, no, I don't, there's no dialogue.
Is there a face on the ball?
Well,
to
in my
keep you
mind,
interested in it.
I like to see just Freddie Mercury, just before he went, just winking at me, bearing down. No, there's no face. It's all above board and actually very masculine and grown up. And I feel very strong lately, as a matter of fact.
You did look a bit buff the other day, actually.
I feel very muscly, I really do, I must say. I feel fit as a fiddle. The thing is, with Steve, he's a very, like, he was at, he was in Wimbledon youth team for a while. So he's like an ex-footballer.
So he's bitter.
No, he's not. He's a very lovely, personable fella, but he exists in the world of physical training only, right? And so, again, you've seen me, Matthew, in situations where I'm stripped of my typical social skills and appurtenances once they become redundant, like, when I was on that building site or when we used to go kickboxing. It don't matter if you're funny or charming, them things are useless there. So I just become this long man, inappropriately dressed for gym, as it turns out.
Embarrassing.
I wear my yoga clothes that I've just been wearing for the yoga that I've done earlier, so I'm barefoot in there. That don't seem quite right. He's wearing sort of trainers and everything, and like we can't really talk about anything other than the personal training, you know what I mean? So there's a sort of...
Does he look at your body and go, oh, your quads are coming on, and things like that? Does he?
Apparently my pecs are in great shape. This is something of which I'm richly proud.
Can I ask you these questions that I've raised? Does he come to your house with the giant ball under his arm and go, Ross, it's that time?
He comes round with that ball and he has to deflate it slightly to get it through the door. It's quite a big ball. And then he reinflates it once.
Why doesn't he go to a gym?
I don't want to go to the gym.
What, so there's a moment where he's going, pumping up your ball?
I'm doing yoga while that's happening. I can hear it happening outside, but I try not to get involved.
You have a smorgasbord of things.
I'm trying to get fit and healthy, aren't I?
Okay.
So he does arrive with it, but that's not embarrassing.
Are you embarrassed? You let him in like he's a prostitute coming in?
I would not know what that's like, Matthew. It's not like that's something I'm retreading for the umpteenth time. Hello, miss. Pop your handbag on the dresser.
Deflate it slightly to get in.
God knows it'll be deflated when you leave.
Okay, so I've asked you that. What you wear is your... What music do you put on? Too Unlimited?
There's no music on. We don't need music. No, Matthew, stop trying to turn it. There's nothing wrong with gay gym culture, but I'm not a member of it.
Why are you saying gay?
I'm saying gay because you've just said Pet Shop Boys, Too Unlimited, and kept winking and touching your genitals throughout this link.
And what does Steve, is it Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
What does he say to you? Like, go on, Russ.
Yeah, mostly we just talk about things in a very efficient, scientific way. Like, just, come on, get on with it. That's the spirit.
Sounds like Jeremy Paxman.
So it's not an undercurrent, Matthew. It's not like a Joe Orton play. It's not like it's going to collapse into love at any point. It's very above
How long?
board
An hour?
legit.
You do an hour?
Just the hour. The only thing is, it's like the other day I was thinking about I was sat on my Swiss ball I was doing some bicep curls as it happened, and I sort of thought of the image of a starling having laid an egg that confused it, and I sort of laughed a bit, and I couldn't really tell Steve why I was laughing, because I'd have had to have gone, I'd had to have described you, I'd have had to have described the radio show, I'd have had to have described the blog, then I'd have had to have described that image, by which time it would have been uncomfortable, it would have been awkward, so I just had to just pretend I was thinking about like a childhood memory and stuff like that, and looking at my misshapen
But you can do bicep curls standing up, you don't need to be on a
ball.
But
you're increasing your core strength, Matthew. I cannot emphasise enough
what position
the significance of core strength. Perched there. Perched with your little tippy toes. No, you got your feet flat on the floor and you're sat on it like you would be a bench or perhaps even a stool or a lavatory, just sat in a conventional fashion. Where did you meet this man? He and I met at a little place I call the White Swan in Stratford, where Michael Barrymore came out. Now, if you don't cast aspersions over my relationship with Steve, we'll talk more about Steve and my physical training and self-improvement, and Matthew trying to crush me, trying to improve as a man. We've got some good music coming up. I'd also like to discuss Germaine Greer writing an article about me,
I read that was
me off
rambling.
for no reason.
What's this?
So Germaine Greer wrote this article about me going, like, she tried to damn me with faint praise. That's the worst kind of damnation. First of all, she compared me to Elvis, right, and goes, but Brand can neither sing or dance. I'm not a bloody singer or dancer. I'm under no obligation to do that. I'm also rubbish at, like, plumbing. You know what I mean? It's just out of order, right? And then she started going, and Lord Byron was better than him. And I thought, well, he was a poet ages ago. This is an unfair comparison.
She goes, and he reminds me of a friend who once stitched me up. He's a lot like him. He's just like really personal and rambling.
I remind her of someone in her past, and then at the end, coat me off for it.
At the end, she goes, I like him, though.
Yeah, and I think she put that I like him in to make it look like it weren't all embittered. Now, someone told me she had it off with Hendrix in the old days. Now, and since then, she thinks she's got the divine right to, like, have a pop at people.
I don't think that's how it works, is it?
Well, I think you have it off with Hendrix. It gives you the right to start, sort of anyone comes around with a nice pair of trousers, you can have a go. I think that's the system. I don't know,
where's
Trevor.
that come from?
He was a journalist called Ben Thompson. He's a journalist and writer. So
you just
Ben
landed him in it.
Well, I think it's well known. It's either well known or highly sensitive information. I don't know which, and I certainly can't be expected to be responsible for what comes out of my face during this BBC broadcast. I will not be held responsible.
No, I read that article. It was rambling and weird.
It was rambling and weird. Now, what do you think motivates it, Matthew? Say lust. Lust. It was lust. Good old-fashioned lust.
I just think she was asked to write a pice on you,
and she just thought, "Write that about
rambled it off." It was stupid.
I don't know why she didn't just leave me alone.
I think she got
just
into a bit of a tiz
in my life. She just got into a daft flush and scribbled out some ramblings. Yeah, well, there's that. All right, I've got that off my chest. I won't be talking about that no more. I don't feel bothered about it anymore. Also, we have our drive-in item, the jewel in this crown of broadcasting which we've nourished and present to you. It's called, what's the item called? Cry for help.
Yeah.
Cry for help. If you need a bit of bloody old help, call us, we'll help you. Or text us. Here's someone who needs help. Hold on, I'm just going over somewhere, get this bit of help.
We should play a record now.
Right, all right. In a minute, after this record that's coming up, and by God, what a record! It's Woody Guthrie, Ezekiel saw the wheel. It's about Ezekiel seeing what I reckon might have been an alien spacecraft described by primitive people, then put into the Bible. That's what the Raelian movement believe as well, who have recently been trying to brainwash me into being a sort of cut-price digital TV Tom Cruise for their movement. We've got some emails, things like that. People wanting help. Congratulations, says David, on getting to number one. Didn't you say you'd get an ice cream van? I think we did say that. Yeah, I just said we're going to get it.
Let's give us some more suggestions so loads of people can come there.
All right. Where can we put an ice cream van?
And everyone has to dress as something.
What do you want people to dress as? Don't make this about sex, Matt. Don't you cheapen this. This is a celebration.
Sexy.
Make it a bit sexy. Come dressed as French maids, harlots,
no,
bluesies, the likes. Will it? Do you think so?
That we say, some people will come doing it.
You're right. Okay, let's not abuse that power ever. Okay, lots of other things, all sorts of congratulations. Oh, yeah, look. Russell, you are more of a man using that gym ball than them that doubters and naysayers are. This is Sam from Sheffield. I would love to see your muscle. Then she does a sort of, using punctuation marks, makes what I can only describe as a winking face.
And in brackets she said, "It's Steve, really?"
Steve, dear old Steve, my personal trainer, who's not someone who I think would send cheeky texts. He's too forthright. It's not his way.
Would you ever have your house, especially have like a round door put in?
Listen, it's not got to the point where I will get my own one of those Swiss balls, just so as the neighbours don't have any more information over me than they have to about the way I conduct my life.
Our osteopath sits on one as a chair.
Oh yeah, that osteopath who you're obsessed with.
I'm obsessed with him.
You're always on about him.
I'm always going there because I'm in such a state.
I think that you have started to exaggerate the significance of that relationship in your life. I reckon you bring personal problems to him.
Make him the new Steve.
You love that osteopath. I reckon you've developed that limp and hunchback just so you can spend more time in his company. And anyway, while you're criticising me for that Swiss ball, young man, you'd do well to remember. Listen to this, Trevor. Matt quite casually announced to me the other day, whilst we were sat in the back of a taxi coming back from some trawl of a meeting or another, he goes, "Oh, yeah, you want to start wearing your woolly hat in bed?" I do. I wear my woolly hat in bed every night. And it makes me feel really secure and comfortable. I call it my sleepy time hat or my dream cap
I call it my comfort hat.
Comfort hat. And he pulls it down, right down nice and tight over his ear.
It's Coleman's hat.
If you, this is amazing. If you go to bed with a woolly hat...
Don't try and defend it.
Sleep with a woolly... People used to. Look at Wee Willie Winky.
He's not a historical figure.
He is.
Willie Winky.
Him and Samuel Pepys live together.
It's bad, though. It's bad for you.
Willie's gone out again on his night run. Upstairs, downstairs. Apparently it's ruining my diary. I don't know. I'm expected to write while Willie, and I don't know why he's got that name. I'm going to have to ask him for rent. Willy Wonka and Willie Winky, all the alliterative Willies are fictional characters as far as Wicked Willie, that one, remember the 80s, that brief fixation we had with that drawn penis. So there's no sense of... Trevor actually does wear a nightgown, don't you?
Yes. I don't wear a hat,
worse
though.
than a hat.
No, it's not.
It's a nightie. It's like a nightie where they've removed they've tried to remove all the feminine ephemera, but what they can't remove is the fact that it's open at the bottom because they expect you to sit down when you use the toilet because you're a woman.
Oh, stop it.
The indication of femininity can never be removed, Trevor.
It's a sensible piece of bedwear, that is.
How?
Because it's... Well, think about why.
All right, what's it?
Well, think.
Disgust me.
It's
Do it
good.
in the lavvy before you go to bed.
No,
you can't
silly
be referring
boy.
to coitus. I know how you live your life.
You shouldn't go to bed with your pants on.
No, you
Trevor.
shouldn't.
You shouldn't go to bed with your pants on. You shouldn't go to bed with a hat on. You should have air being able to
Where are you
circulate
getting your
underneath.
information? I think you should do both of those things. Just do what makes you happy.
Oh.
Matthew, what are you on about? Now
I
you
read a
what?
kiss and tell about you that said
When?
in the paper that said you wore gum shoe. It goes, we made love. Then he said he went and tapped out something on a keyboard. Don't know what that means. And then it said you put moccasins on and a gum shield and went to bed and snored.
I did not snore, and I did do the other things. Like really, that's to align the old gnashers all nice and tight throughout the night. Also, sometimes I ground out all my resentment as I sleep through the medium of the mandibles. Oh, what a hateful day! I think as I lay there drifting nodward. So I do wear them things, them aligners. They're not gum shields. They're perfectly
Moccasins?
acceptable. They're not moccasins. They're called Afghans, I believe. They're knee-high woolen sock things with
I've
a very
seen
thin.
those.
Booties.
Little
That's
stuff.
what they are.
Don't
They're
call
little
them
booties.
sheep and their
Your gran knitted them for you.
They are not booties. I think I look nice.
You do,
in
you
my
look lovely.
clothes of when I go home. I'll
Yeah.
just wear my pants and those boots, and I think it's attractive. And it's nice that I've got my ways and that. Now listen, if you want us to help you, we will. Just ring us up on 0500 288 291. I don't want any more of these attacks from my cohorts. Right, so right now it's time to help someone. Who have we got on the line? Is it Phil? Rob.
Hello?
Hello, Rob. Right, what seems to be the trouble, dear? You already seem baffled about something.
Well, I've got a new job and I have to move house.
Right,
And,
okay.
so I've got to
Difficult.
move, well, it's on the outskirts of London, but I'm fed up of living on the fringe, basically, of things, and so...
Why, you feel you're peripheral, do you, to life? You feel that life's happening somewhere near the nucleus
well, yeah,
and you
there's always a
yourself are a
better party,
satellite?
basically, and it's not in Crawley.
Okay. Well, where are you moving to, old Bean, and what the hell is this new job of yours?
Well, it's a graduate scheme with modular office space.
That sounds confusing.
The name of the company.
What does it mean, modular office place? And also, mate, you best say, when you want a bit of help, articulate succinctly what the bit of help is you're after, then go, help, in that voice.
I've got to find somewhere to live, and the people...
You'll be good at doing that voice, because your voice naturally tends towards it when you're talking, I notice. Just occasionally, I just heard a bit of it. Go on, so you've got to move to where?
I want to move to London. I'm not sure where. The people who I'm going to live with, well, the potential people have to like me to
Yeah,
invite
that's
me to live
necessary.
with them. And I'm not sure if that's that easy to do.
Who wouldn't want to live with Rob, having heard his plaintive cry of help, which he did, completely unabashed? Right, we'll find you somewhere to live by the end of this show. Have you got any favoured bit of London? Do you know London well, or do you just want to name a landmark?
Sort of in North London Zone 2.
North London Zone
Northwest.
2,
I've got
sort
to
of Kentish Town, Archway where
Tufton
Matt lives.
Park.
You don't want to live around near Matt Morgan. It's a horrible place. Matt forever slinging sacks of excreta off his balcony because he can't be bothered to wait for his flatmate to get out of the lavvy. It's a simple fact, which I've only not mentioned before because we're trying to be more highbrow because we're in Radio 2. So you'll probably end up, Kentish Town, Archway, Tufton Parks and all like that. Now, if you've got a spare room in that area, ring us now on 0500 288 291. What we would probably prefer is that you're a person who's a bit unstable, because you've heard Rob talk now, and if he was living with someone without any odd traits, you wouldn't be able to relax, would you, Rob?
Not really. Everyone's got their kooks.
Everyone's got their kooks, mate. That is quite fair to say. Now, are you looking for romance with this person?
I don't think you don't do that with your housemates, isn't that the unwritten rule?
I don't know. Sometimes perhaps you might get drunk and end up kicking their door in. That's not a euphemism. I mean literally their door.
No, I'm not looking for that sort of thing. I think you get yourself in trouble with the police.
No, I don't. I'm not suggesting that without consent. Yo, Rob! Whoa, Rob! Hey, when did this go off the rails? No, I'm just suggesting, romance. Now, as far as I know, romance is not illegal. Damn it, it's mandatory. Romance should be everywhere we go. Now, right, you're not looking for love. You just need a very uncomplicated place to live.
People.
What kind of character would you like to live with?
All people, not just one person, characters.
Right, you don't live with just one sort of lonely spinster, forever looking at a grandfather clock, regretting being jilted once. But and probably that out of Great Expectations. You essentially don't live with her, but I think she weren't even real in the old days, let alone now.
You could live with a Swiss ball with a face on it in Russell's spare room.
Right, okay. Well, it's very easy in life to point the finger and judge people for trying to... I used to be a drug addict, which I never try and make capital out of. Now I do daily exercises and you seek to undermine me. You, young man, and I'm talking to you, Rob, should be looking to live with, I imagine, someone who is dangerous pervert that you're almost perpetually restraining. Now, if you fit that category, why don't you immediately call us? We'll try and get you together. Rob, have you got any other... This is the time for you to name any criteria you might have before we thrust you into
I think
cult.
music's got to be more important than tidy in the flat, basically.
Right, okay. So you want to
It doesn't
live...
have to be tidy.
Junkies. Trevor, have you got any? have you got anything you want to add?
I think what you should do is just advertise yourself briefly now to our listeners, and that's the way you're going to get the room. So quickly give an ad for yourself. What you like, what you're after, what can you offer?
Go on, Rob, do it. You've got 10 seconds.
Oh, God.
Right, you're religious. That's good.
Religious freak seeks wardrobe for
C.S. Lewis style Narnian adventure.
Narnia entrance.
So you're a good cook. That's always a winner.
People love
I
good
am
cooks.
actually a good cook. Used to do that.
Are you a
out in the
smoker or are you a
mountains,
non-smoker?
non-smoker?
Lovely. People like a non-smoker.
Boozers,
Are you confident? Will you be striding naked to the bathroom? Because I wouldn't like someone moving into my house and then striding naked.
It's about the old nakedness.
Mm.
It is liberating, but I don't think I'd want to expose people I live with to that.
Do you have any unfortunate habits, like with regard to self-relationship? Are you always at it, onanism-wise?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Well, that's fair enough. I think you sound like a lovely flatmate. So if you want to live with old Rob, Rob, leave your details with Claire Jones on the phone, and we'll get you a new flatmate probably within half hour, I would have thought. Call us on 0500 288 291. If you've got some sort of criminal record, and look, we'll have to read about this in a couple of weeks' time, man murdered after wacky flatmate stunt, just don't waste our time, all right? Do your murders elsewhere without tainting our pleasant, upbeat, jocular radio show. Give us a call then. Rob, you give your details to Claire Jones. We'll call you back when we've got your nice new flatmate. We've helped him, I think, or we're going to help him, because we can't. None of us can let him live with us, can we? And actually, I'm going to be renting my flat, so I'm moving soon. But you won't be able to afford it, I don't think. I don't know. How much money can you afford?
You don't know what I'm doing.
All right. How much can you afford a month?
Well, I don't think I can say that on air.
Why?
Well, of course you can.
People
You have
phoning
to.
to rip me off.
No, they won't. When you get there, you decide whether or not it was worth that, and then don't move in if you don't think so. Go on, roughly, how much a month?
I don't know.
If you think your
550.
animal farmyard noises are going to get you anywhere, sunshine. I will
550
I will accept. What,
That's
150?
pretty cheap, I
Pony.
think.
150 a week?
550.
550 a month?
Yeah, that's...
I wouldn't let him live in my
bargain
lavvy for that. All right, no, fair enough. Okay, so if you can accommodate dear old Rob, give us a bell on 0500 288 291. Rob, you leave your details with Claire Jones and we'll sort things out a little bit later. In a minute, we're going to be helping someone else. They'll be on the line in a moment. But look, this lady, Lucy, she's from Birmingham. She's got a cry for help. We should probably get her on the phone because it sounds like quite a serious issue, as a matter of fact. Here it is. My friends and I go swimming twice a week in our local pool, says Lucy. On our Wednesday visit, there's a group of old men who pervert us. They sink to the bottom of the pool and scull along. Scull? She means skulk, does she? She's just pressed L twice.
No, she means skull. It's a type of swimming.
Trevor! If this is another one of your senseless lies, you know nothing about the world of Neptune or the sub-aquatic legions thereof. Skulk along, face up.
It's not skulk, it's skull. Skull is a form of movement.
You got skull,
Just
verb,
get on with it.
sculling.
That's what you do on a boat. Skull.
Sculling is,
but
I
that's with a
believe,
C,
that's
not a
something
K.
that goes on in prison.
She
Sculling.
is likening those gentlemen to boats.
She's likening. Either then this is a terrible blunder, or it's a brilliant piece of language.
I'm guessing it's
They're
the
like
latter.
stingrays on the bottom of the tank.
Exactly.
These are it's a noun, and she's using it as a verb.
Just get
skull.
on
It's
with
a
it.
skull.
Skull, to
This is
skull.
the radio show, you twerp.
Get on with the story.
Us saying stuff is the radio show. There is no actual ending. We're never actually going to help someone. We're never actually going to go, oh, Lucy, we've solved your problem with swimming. This stuff, this rhubarb, this nonsense is the show. If we stop doing this, there ain't nothing else.
Who are you talking to?
Him,
Oh,
Matthew. Matthew, going, get on with it, get
Your
on with
ears
it.
burning, Matthew. Are you suitably
Yes.
As if
chastened?
there is an actual objective to be achieved. Sculling, then, is you think a verb. Can someone please find
Sculling.
out?
This is sculling. I'm now sculling in the studio with imaginary oars.
But that's with a C, not a K.
Right, it's the
She's spelled
action
with a K.
of an imagine.
She spelled it with a K. Spelling mistake.
Skull.
Spelling mistake.
Trevor, you're very keen to defend it. Is this woman you? Have you been putting on a swimming costume, going to Birmingham and encouraging old men to look at your genitals? Is this what this is truly about?
And if I had, would it be a crime?
No, actually, Trevor, it would be an interesting insight. So they sink along and to the bottom of the pool. I'm interested in how they sink to the bottom of the pool, to tell you the truth as well. They scull along, or skulk, face up, staring at the surface of the pool and the people swimming above. I've done that. We've all done that, haven't we? Matthew?
No.
Guess you have. You do that sort of thing. You probably do it in your own bath. Sink to the bottom of it and try and look at your own bottom.
What?
Sink to the bottom of the pool and stare at people swimming above. Also, women underwater look brilliant, don't they?
Do they really?
The woman's problem is that she's been perfed on by old men. Right?
Is this not helping?
So far.
He's a young man, it's fine.
Anyway, she says, we're impressed by the lung capacity of these elderly gentlemen because they've swim
evolved
about 30 metres. They've evolved. Sex is probably what causes every evolutionary step. We probably only got out of the bleeding ocean to have a look at someone's bum. And now these geniuses have developed a way of swimming along, face up, staring at the magnificent sight of women underwater.
I thought it'd all be
and
blurred.
I congratulate them.
Hang on, get to the end of the story.
Right.
But hold on, isn't it blurred underwater when you look at a woman?
Not if you've got goggles on, you nerd.
I've never been
You
underwater.
know nothing, Trevor.
I've never been underwater.
Did you not watch that cartoon with them puppet women? Aquamarina? Did she die in vain? What was that called? Stingray?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you
I
watched
don't.
Stingray, they were
What,
puppet
Thunderbirds
people.
underwater?
That's right,
Yeah,
that was it.
well,
Someone seen Thunderbirds and gone, this is good, should we do something like it? They went, yes. What's the absolute minimum we can do without getting sued? I don't know, put it underwater. All right, let's do that then. So, they swim along for about 30 metres, these lads. Old lads, men. What is that when you're not a child anymore? When that hair grows and you start to procreate, and then you age and wither and die. That's life. But we don't want them doing it when we're swimming above. It's creepy. So she's impressed with the feet, but she don't like it happening while she's swimming above. At first, we thought it was innocent. My friend reasoned they may do it as it's quite interesting to watch people swimming from below, like you see in things like Blue Planet or in swimming races and that. Their goggles, however, magnify their eyes, and we can see them staring at us. So we've come to the conclusion they are just a bunch of perverts. When they're not underwater, they hang around the deep end and duck under the water as we swim towards them, and we can see them perving. This is out of control. They've got a whole culture built around looking at women underwater.
Yeah.
I salute these men. They just all hang around the shallow end, and shallow's what it is, guys. Let's be honest, because there's no depth to what you're doing, you superficial pervert.
But it's encouraged, it's sanctioned at swimming pools. I never understood.
What do you mean? There's different rules.
Well,
it's some sort of
went to a swimming
citadel,
pool
some
recently.
lawless citadel,
No.
some Kubla Khan of
Stop
voyeurism.
it. Let me finish. I
What
went to a swimming pool the other day, and there's a viewing gallery. Why have a viewing gallery?
In case your kids are doing a gala. And where do you have galas other than at a swimming pool? That's another thing I want to know more about. I think ponies have galas, don't they? It's probably for swimming galas, Trev.
Huh.
Swimming galas. It's not for people to sit up there masturbating over swimmers, Trevor.
But there was a
That's what
sign
you're
up. I
implying.
walked in and there was a sign saying viewing gallery this way.
Yeah, it's to view.
well,
That's-
Jesus, Trev, you might as well go up there nude. That sign is just sanctioning your every action.
I wasn't nude, I was wearing a towel, but I thought, why else go up there?
He's not even been swimming. You shouldn't be at that gallery wearing just a towel.
It was at the gym.
What on earth? Go on.
What kind of life do you live, Locke, where these kind of things actually happen? Anyway, it goes like this now. The goggles that these old men wear magnify their eyes and we can see them staring at us, and it makes us afraid. They hang around the shallow end, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes we realise they're there and we start swimming only to find they're underneath us. That's eerie.
They flit about like little
flit.
stingrays.
They're like flitting stingrays. What done that poor Oz geezer? What's his name?
Steve Irwin.
Like Dan Irwin. Yeah, and they should be punished for the same plight than when Australian people pulled them out of the water and ripped their stingers out. I tell
This
you
only
something.
happens on Wednesdays.
This
right?
is just Wednesdays. Don't go on Wednesdays. First bit of advice.
And
solved.
sometimes swimming pools have a women-only session.
What? That should be banned.
I know. Imagine one of those blokes got into that.
Oh my God, it'll
Yeah.
be the Shangri-La for perverts, wouldn't it? The very Nirvana. When I was on holiday, guess what I'd done? I just went in the sea in the dark and jumped in. It was a very big leap of faith for old Russ, because that dark, watery sea, why, it could be full of all sorts of forbidden Neptunian mysteries and such. And it gave me it put me back in touch with life, I don't mind saying. Sort of thing I imagine Thomas Hardy would have written about if he wrote books about things like that. So in I dived, and there I was. Night. So I'm just saying, you know.
Well, you walked in, you dived into the sea.
Dived into the dark sea by night and you couldn't see. And you can't help thinking about sharks in a situation
You're
like
more
that.
likely to bang your head on the floor.
Yeah, I know, that did happen. Then let's go back to the pervs. Sometimes we don't realise the old pervs are beneath us, and if we're in shallow waters, we are very close to touching skin. This is erotic. This is particularly uncomfortable when we're face down and they're face up, both wearing very little.
What?
We've tried staring at them when they do it, so they know we're onto them, and we give them dirty looks and tut. What English thing to do?
What, underwater?
Especially tutting underwater.
A
That would
tut
come out as a
underwater.
little bubble, wouldn't it?
It'd just be a bubble, and that could mean anything. Underwater, a tut could come across as, Couldn't it? That's spurring them on. Don't
I like
tap.
it. It's now a beautiful image for me. It's the perfect form of synchronised swimming.
Yeah.
A man facing up, a woman facing down in the shallow end, synchronising, blowing little bubbles into their faces.
What's wrong with you
beautiful.
two?
I think it's sexy. I'd like someone to ride on the woman's back as well while it's going on. So it's a bit more like a Disney
With
cartoon.
wings.
Yeah, why not? Go on, Matthew. What possible problem could you have with our sick fantasies?
Well, she needs help. She's saying...
Well, we'll help her. We'll help her, mate.
Thursday mornings. It's free Thursday mornings.
Thursday mornings, there's no perverts at all. Hold on, let's get to the
So
bottom.
do you reckon these men talk about it? They plan it?
If I was most perverts act alone. You don't get hordes of serial killers, for example, because how do you go to someone, here, I'm thinking of doing a serial killing, do you want to get involved? You know, how would you ever do it? Or if you go, I'm a bit of a pervert, I'm thinking of going swimming underneath women to see their magnificent breasts all moving in a watery fashion. You wouldn't share that with people. I just then have done it, and I feel it might have ended my career.
Basically, you can't help her. You're a pair of goggles away from these men.
I'm a pair of goggles and a few cushy jobs in media away from those men. Anyway, listen, there's a few caveats and conditions which make the problem rather more difficult to solve. Can't change swimming nights or pool, as they are both the most convenient.
Well,
we can't compromise
define
convenience.
convenient, young lady. Define convenient. Clearly
Modern
they're not
society,
convenient.
consumerism, just having access to products and lifestyle choices. That's, it's probably what it means in this.
Why can't she write on her stomach, pervert, in marker pen?
Because then they might think that she's the pervert and they'll start touching her arse. Like it's an invitation. That'd be a red rag to a ball
What about
bag.
you, pervert?
You pervert! Stop this! Stop this!
Staring, pervert.
Stop staring, pervert, at me now, at my midriff. I mean you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a good start. But it's got to be a good indelible thing. So
I know what
can't
to do.
It'll be all right.
F off under the old water. Trevor?
Well, maybe a breakfast of baked beans on toast. Maybe that.
Them bubbles will be seen as more emissions of l'amour.
They won't care about that.
If a tut can be mistaken for an orgasmic groan, imagine what a fart could be misconstrued as, Trevor.
You're right.
An orgasm of some kind.
Well, I just think
leave that unsaid.
There's nothing to it. I mean, if they're refusing to move pool or move time, I mean, it can't be that much of a problem.
That's true.
Tell a lifeguard.
Tell a lifeguard. The lifeguard. What is their authority? They sit
They're
up
just
there.
perverts on big chairs.
They're perverts with big chairs. They're perverts that have climbed to the top of the pole. They sit up there, hard as rocks, down those little shorts. Sit there without reproach or recourse. No one's judging the lifeguard. Think of some of the famous lifeguards in history. Hasselhoff, him out of Neighbours, that was one as well. Craig McLachlan that sang the song Hey Mona. Two of the most devious sex crooks the world has ever flung forth in their fictional guise.
Frustrated tennis umpires. That's how I see them.
Frustrated tennis umpires.
Yeah.
Well, they just think in their half hearts. Well, if you are a lifeguard, you must secretly be thinking, go on, one of you drown. Mustn't you? I'm so bored. Please drown. Mustn't you? You've been crying out for that.
That's the dilemma. That's the moral dilemma about doing an ethically good job. You always want something bad to happen.
That is the goal-scoring opportunity of the lifeguard world, isn't it? A drowning.
Yeah.
So that's why they've got that attitude and they blow their whistle.
That's
at
right.
The slightest thing.
Slightest thing, the whistle's off, isn't it? Oh.
Exactly.
Petting?
The
What's
other
all that
time.
about?
Yeah, petting, hey.
Petting's only called petting in swimming pools.
Where else is it called petting? Bombing.
zoo.
In all other areas, there's nothing wrong with bombing. Oh, well, I suppose society frown on it a bit. But petting, yeah, only in zoos. Zoos it's allowed, isn't it?
But it's a different type of
Encouraged.
petting.
Encouraged.
That's
Because if you get it confused.
Particularly a petting zoo. It's
Do you remember
been
the
used as an
cartoons that
adjective.
said no petting and there's pictures of hearts coming out of a couple and
I
they're in
know.
water?
That was really an exciting
know what it
image.
meant.
That
When I
cartoon-
was 7, that confused me and excited me. I didn't know why.
They
Trevor,
weren't
that's
kissing,
still
they were
porn
just
to you
holding
now.
onto each other and hearts were coming out of them.
Yeah, hearts came
I
out of
didn't know
them.
what petting meant.
I wonder what that heart, semiotically, what is the semiological, what is that in terms of
If a word
symbology?
doesn't exist, just make it up.
Semiological, yeah, I think that's a word.
Yeah.
Semiotically, what does that mean, them arts coming out?
Well, it
I
means
think it's to do with
emotions. It's emotions.
emotions in the form of a heart.
Yeah.
It's love.
Oh,
You
good
heard of
old
that?
love. That's what unites us all, separates us from the beasts, don't it? Who would seek to condemn
No,
that?
animals
Only a
love each other.
lifeguard. Do animals love each other?
Of course they
Stop
do.
it. Don't do that.
Don't do that. That is that. We've just mentioned briefly that soldier. One of Matt's mates went to a TA course. One of it, he had to be carried on a sergeant's back across a sort of an assault course, and the sergeant's shoulder was going into his abdomen, and he was jogging along. And Matt's mate, a little blow off, came out an embarrassed one, and the sergeant went,
Don't do that.
really quickly. Don't do that. Like as if the bloke had done it on purpose. Like it was a child playing with a lighter in a car. Don't do that. Don't touch that. No one deliberately does a little blow off. That's really compromised you, hasn't it? All an embarrassed one. Not like a choice one. Not like one we go F Society, like that one Jonathan Ross done. Do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah.
When we was at their Comedy Awards, Jonathan Ross looked out a window smoking a cigar, went, excuse me, gentlemen, while I live my luxurious lifestyle. He did it like a big foghorn blast of his own alpha male comfort in the situation. Anyway, so what we've got to do, we'd appreciate any advice you have, especially advice that doesn't involve encouraging them, which is what our bloke mates have suggested. They're so childish. Much love, Lucy in Birmingham. Should have read that whole thing, then done the stuff, shouldn't we? Then we'd have had
That's why I kept saying get to the end, and you said, this is the radio show, Sculling.
My personality is the show. Okay. All right, so, well, listen, Lucy, give us a ring, love. Well, I'm so sexually charged by that email that I won't rest till you're pregnant. So, no, give us a ring, because I'd like to know what's going on, really. We'll help you, but only if you actually call. Otherwise, just go another day, or, as Matt said, write stuff. Or perhaps, I don't know, don't shave your body hair. Okay, let's listen to... What we're going to listen to now, Matt? Stop you choosing things. No, I want to choose one.
Go on, then.
Let's have... what was I saying? Oh, Adam Green, Jessica Simpson. I like it.
How can I find that?
It's in there somewhere. Just keep looking. I'll kill time. No. They'll just think it's a bit of the old radio. Oh, is there someone on the line that we should be talking to? Right, okay. Janet, are you there, love?
I am, yes.
You all right, dear?
I'm fine.
I like the sound of you, love. Where are you?
I'm in Leeds.
Leeds. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to play this Adam Green song, then we're going to... Just to tease us a little bit. Would you tell us what your problem is?
I need to bring the temperature of my wine down so I can add the yeast.
Right, now that is a serious issue, and if we don't, we're going to resolve that quick, smart. You need to get the temperature of your wine down so you can have the yeast. Is that the problem?
It is.
Right, okay, well, we're going to play a record, work out what that means, and then we'll have a chat to you and solve that problem. There, I just saw it, Jessica Adam Green. Oh, sorry, I just saw it. There are people in here just putting tracks past. Right, so but don't let that make you think that we don't value you, Janet. We're going to solve that problem about your yeasty wine. Janet, you've got a problem with... all I've picked up is it's to do yeast and wine.
Yeah, I'm making 2 batches of wine. It's a new hobby of mine.
Lovely.
And it says that the mix has got to be between 20 and 25 degrees centigrade before you can add the yeast. Otherwise, it's too hot and the yeast gets killed.
Right, okay, I can see that would be a problem. What do you need to do?
And I've got I've done everything to the instructions on the kit, but the mix is too hot. It's about 30 degrees, and I need to know the best way to cool it down. I've got it in the sink of cold water, but it's not coming down very fast.
Put it in a garden.
It's raining.
Put something above it, or you stand out there with a brolly, right, in lingerie.
I'll be out there all night.
We'll be out there for about 20 minutes.
How much does it need to reduce? 5 degrees?
Yes.
Matt, do you know much about physics?
A little bit.
Right, well, hit us, baby.
Spray it with aerosols all over the outside of the container, and it'll chill it.
You are, but sometimes I realise why I fell in love with you.
I haven't got any.
Go on, what's that? What's the problem with Matt's brilliant aerosol
ruin
plan?
The planet, though.
Aerosols are bad for the environment, and I haven't got any.
Look, you may... is that the reason you've not got any?
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's good, Janet. I'm glad you care about our little planet. Right.
30 degrees is very hot, Janet. That's too hot.
Why's your house so hot?
Exactly. What are you wearing?
That's my husband.
Trevor! This is not an opportunity for you to groom Janet.
Well, look, if she's wearing clothes at 30 degrees Celsius indoors, there's something... You should see a doctor. There's something wrong with your thyroid.
The house is not 30 degrees. The mix is 30 degrees because you haven't had
Trevor.
Well,
if the mix is 30 degrees and your room temperature is less than 30 degrees...
Why is the mix so warm, Jan?
Leave it. Just leave the mix. Don't touch it. Just leave the mix. It'll come down to the room temperature.
But the yeast will die by then, Trevor.
It won't die by then. It's got a few more minutes in it.
You don't know about yeast,
Yeast doesn't die like that, does it? It dies over time.
I have lost a lot of good yeast because of that attitude. That attitude, man. It kills yeast.
You don't even know what yeast is.
Yeast isn't in wine.
Look, we've got to go to the news. We live on a planet with other people, not Janet and just a loopy yeast. Janet, I love you in a real way, an actual way. Put up a brolly, dress up like a pervert, stand out in your garden with your husband. It'll also put a much-needed spark into your marriage, so you won't need to drink yourselves daft before you have it off. I'm joking, Janet. Drink that homemade booze. What?
Ice.
Ice? Can you put ice in it, Janet?
Yes, I can. I've got to sterilise it first, though.
This is Russell Brand on BBC Radio 2. That's Trevor Lock going, don't mention it. What are you saying, don't mention, Trev?
Well, it's difficult for me to mention it.
No, don't mention it. What don't you mention?
Well, if I mention it, I'll contradict myself. Like
Yes,
Walt
you
Whitman,
will, Trevor.
And then I'll look silly, and I'm not a poet.
You look much sillier than Walt Whitman and all who were well respected in the poetry industry.
He was in the industry. He's a big name.
Don't try to undermine me. Now listen, so what do you want to not mention? That Rob, we've tried to find you a flatmate, mate, and frankly the world is indifferent to your plight. We've had a big fat zero.
He didn't want to mention it, Rob, but...
He didn't want to mention it, Trevor didn't, but I thought it was best to let you know. Trevor, haven't you got a room at one of your grim little...
I do. He could move into the Italian teenager's bedroom if you wanted to. That is vacant.
Trev's got a couple of Italian teenagers.
No, they've gone home now.
Of course they have. Why are you still calling it the Italian teenager's bedroom in memorial so that it seems more vivid when you live out your fantasies?
No, because I haven't
putting on their discarded bras.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm here in the Italian teenage bedroom.
Silly.
Grazie, mamma mia, prego.
They forfeited part of their deposit.
Well, I hear you just forfeited part of yours. Now listen, why don't you, Trevor, let them old what's-his-face, Rob, live in your flat? He can afford $550 thereabouts a month. And he's a nice sort of a lad.
I don't know, I didn't bond with him very well.
Trevor, stop judging everyone. Earlier on you said Smokey Robinson was just playing, and Trevor, and I goes, oh, I met Smokey Robinson briefly, and Trevor went, what is he? Like if Smokey Robinson had to justify himself to Trevor Lock.
No, but I thought he was from the 60s. I wouldn't have thought.
What is he though?
Well, I thought, because sometimes in my head they sound old, but actually they're young, and I thought he'd been on your show, therefore he was a young one, but he's not a young one, clearly he's a classic.
No, I saw him at an award ceremony. He was a lovely bloke, as far as, well,
he came here,
polite,
didn't he?
actually.
Hey,
he's an older man.
Yeah,
smooth.
because I sort of had to go, all right, because I'd met him the previous day, and it's quite... When someone's got an unusual name, you got to sort of go...
Smokey?
I went, hello, Smokey. I went, hey. Like that, just politely.
He's like Jermaine Jackson, actually.
Yeah, he's got that sort of gentle, soulful demeanour. Yes, he has. He was a very pleasant man, and Trevor Lock, though, was trying to attack him for some reason.
I know, I've always loved him, but
I've
never known if he was old, young...
Well, stop prying, Trev. It doesn't do to be so prudent. It don't do to be so interested in Smokey's sex life.
I'm not interested in his sex life.
You are, Trev. Right,
bit.
We've got some texts here. This one's from a person calling themselves Joe in Coventry. But, you know, where's the evidence? Sculling is a type of swimming, but it's usually done on the surface. I'm a swimming teacher, so I know these things, says Joe in Coventry.
Thanks,
Another
Joe.
one from Depeche.
How's she spelled sculling?
With a C. Another one from Depeche in Leicester. Trevor is correct. Sculling is a legitimate and genuine method of swimming whereby you cup your hands and tread water to stay afloat. Tom from Highgate. Sculling is the action of moving your only hands. Well, what do you mean by that? In small circular motions to propel yourself slowly through the water. That's old Tom.
Thank you.
Dear guys and Trev. Don't reduce me and Matt to guys, and Trev gets his own identity. Let's change that. Dear Russell, brilliant comic. Matt, one of the finest writers and producers in media, and some oik liar. Sculling is a form of swimming. I go to life-saving stroke swimming lessons and we do it a lot. It's when you swim with your legs first, waving your hands to move. From Steve in Pool. Open brackets, the place, not an actual pool. I'm not writing this now in a pool. Now, what these emails prove to me is that we are broadcasting to a nation of liars. Liars, I tell you, who are happy to stand up for Trevor Lock and his campaign of propaganda, which reminds me very much of the Third Reich. There, I've said it, Trev. You're brainwashing folk.
I'm trying to help.
No, obviously that sculling is a word I didn't know. I'm so sorry for not knowing the word sculling. But I do know a similar term that's used in prisons and involves having your eyeball removed. Here's this is Liz. She's on the phone and she's doing a cry for help. Liz, are you all right, dear?
Hello, Russell. Yes. Well, no, because I want help. So.
Right, fair enough. In a way, it's a difficult question for you to answer straight off the bat there, so that's unfair. Have you been listening to the show so far?
I have indeed.
What did you think? Have you got a flat for Rob to live in? Where do you live?
I live in South Wales.
Perhaps Rob's in no position to quibble, really. He should be happy to live anywhere.
You can come and live with me if you want.
Oh, what a generous-hearted woman you are. Now, Liz, you're 18 years of old, are you?
I am indeed.
What's been going on in your life that you would seek help from three twerps such as we?
Well, I was dumped last weekend by my boyfriend.
He's an idiot.
Jumped?
Dumped, Matthew. Jumped is a private thing that goes on between her and her
smuggling,
fella.
Doesn't it? I remember.
It depends how you look at your love life. Matthew's love life does resemble a mugging, really. A small amount of money is exchanged and both parties feel cheated. So no one comes out of that transaction a winner. Liz,
a lie.
That's a lie, of course it's a lie. Liz, tell us what. So you've been dumped by your twerp of a boyfriend. What's going on? Why did he do it?
Well, okay, this is really funny. Well, actually, it's not. It's quite depressing. He dumped me because he's in the RAF, and I can't go to his passing out parade.
Passing out parade, is that when they all faint like an Officer and a Gentleman, or is that when they throw their hats in the air like Officer and a Gentleman, where all my information about air forces and that comes from?
No, I would have gone and seen that. No, but it's basically when his first stage of training's over and he marches around a little square.
Well, actually, right, Matt's taking the side of your... What's your boyfriend's name? Ex-boyfriend's name?
His name's Ant.
Ant, the ex-boyfriend.
The hero.
Right, now why won't you go to Ant's passing out parade?
I'm not allowed to go because I'm in the middle of my A-levels.
Oh, so it's not her fault. She's doing A-levels.
Your parents won't let you go.
They won't let her go. They probably don't even like Ant because he's a ne'er-do-well.
They do like him now he's dumped me.
No, I feel quite down on him, to tell you the truth, Liz, after the way he's treated you.
You fly an aeroplane?
Can he fly an aeroplane?
No, he's not even doing that. He's gone to read sonar.
All he's going to do is read sonar. Matt getting all moist. Can he fly a plane? Oh, one day perhaps he'll carry me off in his arms. Oh, I'd like nothing more than to be up in the clouds with Ant. Oh, Ant, hold me, embrace me. So Ant's going to go and read sonar rather than being in an actual relationship with a human female like you.
Sonar's underwater. Why is that? Why the RAF?
He's probably swimming, staring at women's abdomens, interfering with himself with his magnified goggle eyes.
Yeah,
is sonar beneath the water, Liz? That's just the word for sound, ain't it?
Radars,
I thought what bats do.
I think he does. He'll be underground quite a way.
Right, it was the best place for him.
But he couldn't tell me anything about it because he'd be shot or something like that.
Really?
He's lying about the whole thing.
I think Ant is probably an ice cream man with a ridiculous imagination. Passing out parade. The whole thing just sounds like a sham. So instead of carrying you off in his arms dressed in a white suit like Richard Gere done to that woman at the end of that film, he's effed off to drive his ice cream van in a similar uniform, but just essentially living on lies and past glories. I think you don't need this, Ant fella, but if you are a man and you live in South Wales and you think you could be better than Ant, who a lot of us believe is fictional, call us on 0500 28. I'm joking. 0500 288 291. Let's fix you right up. And also, if you've got a flat for Rob, who we're increasingly beginning to think is a dangerous pervert, please give us a call on that matter as well. What do you want to say, Trev?
I think you've misunderstood her problem. I don't think she rang up to get a boyfriend, did you? You didn't ring up for a new person, did you?
No.
What was the problem?
I just thought she wanted a new person.
The thing is, well...
What is it, Liz?
I'm so sad now. When I was with Ant, I was with him for 6 months, and then before that, I was single for 10 months, and before that, I was with a guy for 9 months.
Right.
Oh,
so
a number pattern.
I don't know how to chat up guys at all.
Right.
So if I was going to meet another guy, I wouldn't know what to say.
You've got a beautiful chuckle in your voice, and men will be attracted to you anyway. Also, it's quite important that you're attractive physically. Now, are you?
Well, this is a scary thing, because I'm not sure if I am, but...
I think
if
you
I
are.
don't find a boyfriend, my friend Sean said she's going to get with me instead.
Hello! We're partying now! Okay, now listen, I just said that thing about physical beauty. That ain't true, is it? Of course, it's superficial and meaningless and only attractive for a short while. Of course, all beauty is transient. One day we will all be dust and the soul is what's eternal. But in the short term, get off with your mate Sean.
He's got a boyfriend, that's the only thing.
Oh, no, don't waste it on him. I don't want him getting out, because he's going to get a threesome here, this boyfriend.
All these problems are sexy.
It's because of us. We're sexy people. We attract sex with our sexual magnetism that Germaine Greer tried to rip up just because she had it off with Hendrix once, hundreds of years ago, which no one remembers. Now, listen, I think me old pal, me old beaut, what you need is to pop down to good old Londinium and meet us three. We'll solve this problem in a matter of moments. Before you know it, you'll be off. Before you can say unwanted pregnancy, you'll be back in Wales with a whole new set of problems. I'm joking. I'm joking. We'd use condoms.
I don't like it when...
What don't you like, Matty?
I don't like it when if my name was Anthony, I wouldn't short it to Ant.
Not all the time.
Because it makes me think of an ant.
Little diminutive
I
ant. I'm thinking of that.
That's all I think.
Why are you calling him Ant then? Me and Matt are thinking of a little bloody ant that you're going out with. A stupid little ant. Craving sugar.
Ant or Tony, and I was like, well, I'm not going to call you
No,
Tony, so I'll call you Ant.
Why don't you call him Mr. Nibs or Captain Tip Top? Something like that. Just something a bit more sweet. Anyway, the man sounds like an absolute bounder and a cad. You're not going to have trouble. Just, right, listen, when you meet new people, don't be nervous, because people are all as self-obsessed as we are, right? Or not as probably as I am, but most other people are as self-obsessed as each other. So don't be all nervous about meeting people. You are young and you're beautiful. People will be attracted to you, so you don't have to worry about that, and don't feel like, oh, I've been with... And all of us have decided is a senseless drone of an insect anyway. So, like, you know, just get amongst it, love. You'll find. If you're going to get off of that Shana, you should probably leave details for me, Matt and Trev. Leave details, or
I'll take
just
some send pictures and put them on. I'll send them to you. So.
Yeah, send pictures to us here at the radio show in our capacity as DJ. Pictures, just give us some pictures. Hey, we want some snaps. We're just a bunch of guys want to look at some snaps, just to get some kicks looking at snaps. Don't let that bloke who's the boyfriend of Sean get a free threesome out of this. That's my main concern. Just bothers me.
He won't.
He's going to get a threesome out of this he's... No, why is he used to...
He's totally anti kind of girls on girls.
Of course he is. He's in the RAF.
Hold on.
not
Who's
him.
against girls on girls, Sean?
No, her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend's against girls on girls?
Of course he is. He feels...
What's wrong with him?
Threatened by it.
I don't. I like it. I think it's the best thing that's come out of this radio show in a long while. Right, yeah, well, good. I'm glad about that, because I didn't like the idea of us essentially smoothing the way for some punk in Wales to get a threesome while we're here, like a bunch of mugs in London, listening to Smokey Robinson by mistake, because someone pressed the wrong button. Although we love Smokey, he was a bloody good man, a brilliant man, and that's not for question. So, why don't...
Yeah, how did you change gear so quickly?
I don't know, it's a gift. What can I tell you? It's a gift. Like, 1 minute I'll say this, next minute I'm reversing.
Or an illness.
I think it's an illness, yeah. So, alright, so we're going to listen to Hey Ya by Outkast.
Hey Ya?
Hey ya, are you alright? Sounds like my Auntie Yvonne asking my mum if she wants tea. Hey ya! Instead of
ya.
Hey ya by Outkast there. Let's have a listen to them. Oh, yeah, young lady, be more confident in yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're beautiful. Right, let's listen to Outkast. We'll dedicate this to you.
Young lady.
What? That's kind. People like kindness, don't they? This is for you, Liz, are you? I'm well sincere. I'm sincere. Get off with Sean! No, right, listen, yeah, we dedicate this song to you, be confident. Come on, I'm essentially a nice person. Right, bye, Liz, love you, bye. So, what have we got to worry about? People's problems.
There's a man on the phone, isn't there?
Oh, there's probably a fella. Oh, yeah, now there's this fella. He's in Toulouse. He's been in a panto in France, and he's got some sort of a problem. We'll let him explain it. Hello, mate, are you there?
Hello, Russ, how are you?
Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Now, what's your name again, please?
My name is Jeff.
Jeff, and you're in Toulouse.
Yeah, man, hi to Matt and Trev if they're there.
They
Hello,
are.
Jeff.
Yeah, they're
How's
there.
it going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the show's going really well. We've helped loads of people. Well, we've not helped that person get a flat. We've derided a poor woman who's being leered at by a subaquatic pervert. We've told some woman who's lost a boyfriend she should get off with her best mate, and some yeast has died as a result of our indifference. But you are going to be different, Jeff. What's that? Trevor's poised eating a macaroon.
normal Saturday night for you.
Normal Saturday night. Trevor,
Just
why are
the way you
you
used to
sat
make it
there like
big.
Leslie Phillips eating that macaroon with your little finger extended?
Oh, look at that.
Why are you sat there eating that
say
macaroon
that.
like a dandy?
I'm eating it politely. This is how you politely
look like
eat it.
someone-
Scoffing it down a microphone?
Looks like
Listen,
he's in Dictionary Corner.
You do look like you're in Countdown.
Yeah.
You do like one of them squares.
He's having a
Dick's got
macaroon in a suit.
Vorderman's another one who started. What's her
don't lump me in
problem?
with a...
I'm not lumping you in with her. She
Vorderman-
started saying I was androgynous or something. Why is this?
That's
You
not
are
a bad
androgynous.
thing, but she
Oh,
said
yeah.
she said worse things, didn't she?
What did she say? She said that I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 300 years, and she's harped on about me not being Ken Dodd. I don't understand.
Really?
Only Ken Dodd is Ken Dodd.
She's got the brain of a genius, and she's wasting it on a telly show.
But
Has she got the brain of a genius?
No, she hasn't.
What makes
got-
you...
No, she's a Spavin's genius.
What's a Spavin's genius?
It means
it
you've
sounds
got-
much worse.
One skill.
You got one abnormally developed particular quality or talent, one skill, and
Hello?
the rest of you is completely normal.
Right.
Well,
Possibly
I've not
average.
seen the skill. What's her skill?
Well, she's good at numbers, isn't she?
Jeff.
Seems to me an artefact of absolute mundanity.
No, if you throw a load of numbers at her, she'll come up with a result.
That's all I would throw at her. The dreary old hag. How about that? Send one of mine to the hospital. Right, so go on, mate. What's going on in Toulouse, Jeff? You've been in a panto,
I've
haven't you?
just come off stage, Russ, so I'm an entertainer like yourself. But I'm in a pantomime, which we show over here with all the expats.
Ah,
And,
what, is it for a pantomime by expats for expats?
It's generally expats. Yeah, there's a few French people. Well, French,
Do you like
German.
the saying expats? Do you like to say it? Saying expats? Do you enjoy it? Is it a phrase you get off on saying?
Maybe I say it too much. I don't know.
Expats. Do you like it?
Expats.
It's quite a nice little phrase.
But we're all over here working, and every January we put on about 6 shows. And they all pretty much sell out, really, and it's great fun.
That's good.
But this year is my first year is with a speaking role, and I want to draw on all your expertise and ask for some tips. What do I need to do, Russ?
You've come to the right place, Jeff. Let me tell you that firstly. Thank God you've called us. Thank God you called when you have. Now, you've just done your first performance, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
How was it?
It was all right, a bit nervy.
Nervy,
but
right.
It's good fun. But I'm sure I can develop and improve, because you never know when a budding director's going to be in the audience looking at you.
In Toulouse, watching a panto for expats, I think it's never ever. But let's not let that divert us from our aim to make you the best. Dan, what part are you playing?
I'm playing Heinz, who is the sidekick to the baddie.
Sidekick to the baddie, great part, lots of laughs.
Is it comedy German?
Comedy German. Is there what, Matt?
Is he a comedy German?
Oh, you're a comedy German.
No, I'm not.
You.
No. Ah, right. No, I'm.
Because you're coming across as one.
No.
No, I eat lots of beans.
That's an advert. Other beans are available. Good lad.
But for expats, that's what they all want, isn't it, Heinz beans?
Oh, bring us some Heinz beans. Bring us some MP3 sauce. I think that's a type of radio, ain't it? I get confused. So, Jeff, right, so you've done your first... You're a sidekick. Now, you don't want to upstage the villain, do you?
Well, not really. I shouldn't, should I, really?
Who's playing the villain? What's the villain like?
Welcome to my world.
He's bad. He's really bad.
Really? What is he?
His name's Hissing Sid.
Is this pantomime? I don't remember none of these guys. What is this panto?
They've written it themselves.
Oh, yeah, right. It's called Way Out West, which isn't really very traditional. But
What's it based on?
Traditional,
you've got a dame, you've got a hero, you've got a woman dressed up as a man. Always annoyed me that as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't like it there was a woman dressed as a man. I thought, have a man.
Yes. There's lots of that, yeah. And women, and we got cowboys. We haven't got enough men, so some of the women are dressed as cowboys with artificial stubble on their faces, which is quite amusing.
Trevor, don't get off on that.
I like it.
Artificial stubble.
There's nothing I like more than artificial stubble on a lady.
I don't like it either. No. When a woman dresses up as a man, especially if they've gone into trouble.
A woman dressed up as you on New Year's Eve at my party.
Did she?
She looked quite good.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you got off with her, didn't you? And that would bring a whole new texture to our relationship. I bet you couldn't wait. I bet that was the final frontier removed for you, wasn't it?
Russell, you look so fresh.
What are these? Oh, by Jove, at last! Hold me!
No, I was just polite.
Way Out West. So Way Out West, there's the typical archetypes that one might expect to find in a panto, such as there's a dame, there's a villain's sidekick.
What's the problem here?
Yeah, what's the problem?
Matt, don't be so sharp with Jeff. He's in Toulouse, for Christ's sake. He's got a lot of problems. Well, he wants to just do a bloody good job performing, that's all. Well, firstly, that's mostly the problem.
Because when you're on stage, you're very articulate and you're very relaxed, and I mean, there's all this queue, you got to remember your lines and people queuing up for you and stuff like that, and oh my God, become a wobbly jelly.
Now this is did you just do a blow-off noise?
Trevor's mouth.
What deliberately? Was that part of your macaroon eating? Was that part of your ritual?
I had a little bit of macaroon in, and then when he said wobbly jelly, it just put me over the edge. It was funny.
Dictionary corner.
Well, thank you for that, Trevor. Jeff. So, well, firstly, nerves, that's a good thing to be a bit nervous before a performance. That's the old body adrenalising you and making you prepared for the old fight or flight. Now, what you've got to do is use that energy to make you feel all grand and powerful. Just concentrate on your breathing. That's the first phase. Don't be afraid that you're nervous. Accept the nervousness. Then, what you've got to do, old bean, is make sure you know the script very well. Anthony Hopkins goes, read the script. Make sure you're right across the line so you don't waste any time picking up cues or any of that stuff. You've got to know completely what you're doing. Then you've got to remember that you've got two relationships. You've got your on-stage relationship and then you've got your relationship with the audience. Make sure you're getting the information across to the audience, but also that you're using the other actors. As they often say, acting is reacting. So make sure you listen. Then there's a few more tricks that you might like to know about for getting attention. Do you want to know them?
Yeah,
get your willy out. Get your willy out, Jeff. Just get it out, baby. They'll look all right. Just bear the old jennies.
Well, they will get a laugh.
Of course it would.
Even if it's a fake willy. It's probably better if it's a fake
I
willy.
don't think it is.
You think what? You'd prefer a real willy, Matthew?
No, I thought.
I bet you weren't saying that on New Year's Eve, were you? What? Well, I was saying when you're getting off with other me, my female doppelganger.
I wasn't.
Yeah, you say that now. It's very easy to say that. Well, do those things. I just gave you some sensible advice at the cost of 1 minute of comedy. So there, have that. And also, just really get into it and enjoy it and interact with the audience. Are there children and stuff there?
Oh, yeah.
Must be tremendous fun. And
good fun.
Also, they're probably bloody grateful to have it because it's like an expat community. So to have something like indicative of English culture like that must be really exciting. So they'd be grateful. So you're starting from a position of acceptance, aren't you? It's
exactly,
not like,
yeah. Try and bring some culture to the natives. That's what I say.
So the French, are there sort of indigenous people attending also?
Oh, yeah, which is good for them. But,
French people are coming to see you do a
they never
panto.
know what jokes they're going to laugh at or what they're going to do.
Hold on, this is just taking on a whole new texture. French people, they've got to respect our fit. Oh, Jeff, don't let the French think the tradition of pantomime is a load of tomfoolery and arseholery.
And all those things. They're going to that.
What, they're going to the Grand Guignol? What's that?
What's that thing in Paris where they used to like do?
Is that where they clown about? A bit like Comédie dell'arte or something?
Yeah, a bit like that.
Right.
It was horrific.
Well,
and now they're watching this.
Watching Jeff prancing around with his knob out. Jeff, don't let us down. This is for Queen and Country now. Well, you can keep... How many more nights are you on for?
Oh, we got one tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
And then next weekend we got Friday night, Saturday afternoon and Saturday afternoon.
Right, so
Saturday evening.
We can have another chat on Saturday to see how it's gone.
Yeah, great. That'll be the last night. That's normally the good one. So, yeah, because you get all your family and friends in then taking the mickey out of you. So that's a great laugh.
Don't be afraid to come off the book. That means your words. Don't be afraid to do that either. And just make sure, you know what you're doing and enjoy it and engage with people in the audience and use that other fella. Is he the person you're acting with? Is he sort of? Do you get on with him? Can you have a bit of a laugh with him?
Yeah, good laugh. We play cricket over here together, so we're a bit bonkers.
So you've got a nice team atmosphere.
If you're playing cricket and having pantomimes, why have you gone and lived over in France?
Yeah, you're like some mad Anglophile lunatic. Then we all sit around and read Alan Bennett and wish it was raining a bit more.
Yes, exactly.
Then we have sexually repressed half hour. Okay, Jeff.
It's the wine.
You're right. You're just over there for wine. Well, I wish you could help this. We've got some woman called Janet who needs to know what to do about her yeast. She's got some. She's got some home brewed wine. She can't get it to a low enough temperature. She's worried. What should she do? Can you help, Jeff? Or are you more of a take person? She's got a yeast problem. Not like that, Jeff.
Not like that.
Don't cheapen this. This is about wine. Come on.
With a wine, I don't know. You just go to the local supermarket and get the good cheap stuff.
Jeff!
She's making it.
It's to put a spark in her marriage, you selfish
pig.
pig.
There's no point in making wine. You can buy it for €3 a bottle. It's not worth the bother.
That's it. Ruin the woman's hobby. Why bother making your own home wine? Why bother being in a pantomime? Yeah, why don't you just sit at home and watch videos of Knight Rider and think to yourself, what's going on, Jeff? How are you living? Not the views of BBC. So, Jeff. Yeah, no, I think that, just be bold, be confident. Trev, you do a lot of performing. What's your advice?
Do you do a vocal warm-up, Jeff?
We did today, yes. Which we went. What did we say? A red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry. And we went up the scale.
Go to the news.
That's good. You've got to be big or be bigger and exaggerate. Pump yourself up. Do you pump yourself up? Do you sort of pump your fist backstage? Pump your fist like in a pumping action and go yes until you sort of pump yourself up with energy.
Get away from that
and then explode. Do that backstage before you go on.
I think that sounds like a waste of energy. Yeah. Do you do that? Is that what goes on in the disabled toilets before you come and do this radio show? You pumping your fist. I heard something pumping and him going, yeah, at the end of it. I feared the worst.
No. I don't do it before this one. But do you know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
Yeah, I do, Trev. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
What, do you want to get him to live in your flat because you can't live with Rob?
Stop.
Is that what's going on here, Trevor?
You've got to have energy. What it's all about is you're giving energy to that audience. You've got to see yourself as an energy transmitter. So you pump yourself up with energy.
We all know how exciting energy transmitters are. There's nothing I enjoy more of an evening than to stare at an energy transmitter.
Shut up. You don't know it. You don't know the things that I know.
You don't know. I read a book once called The Holographic Universe. I've allowed it to bleach out my entire character. Matt Morgan's only recently started performing, but he's a damned fine natural. He can probably give you some advice. Matt, what advice have you got for Jeff?
I haven't got any advice on that.
Oh, Matt! How did you find it when we had to do them things in Edinburgh?
I had one beer.
Hey, Matt says get drunk. That's how he copes with most.
Have a drink, go up there, have a laugh.
Go there.
How to do that.
I sort of stand behind Russell for the first bit.
Oh, then he comes out and attacks Russell for the later parts of it. Jeff, I think we've given you loads of good advice. Trev's given some lovely advice. He's now eating his macaroon like a wounded hound, whereas before he was confidently stuffing it like a
Pump
cavalier.
yourself up. Pumpty pump.
Get pumped, baby. Yeah, that's all I can say. You're not Anthony Robbins, Trev. Jeff, okay, thank you very much for your call, and best of luck. Give us a call next week. Okay, we're going to listen to a record now, and then we'll have a little chat with Steve First, the comedian, the man behind Lenny Page, but constantly anchored to an advert, which I'm sure he'll have to mention because, I see him on a programme the other day. He's always having to justify it. He's a brilliant comic. We'll be having a chat with him in a minute. You're listening to Russell Brand on BBC Radio 2. And Steve First is actually here now. Here's Steve First. Genuine atmosphere being created now. This is the atmosphere still going. The atmosphere's subsiding. All right, Steve.
There's a lot of you. It's quite weird.
We come in more banded, mate. We don't muck around.
No, it's very nice.
We have to bring a lot of people because this is Wogan's studio.
Right.
Now,
do you clean it up before he arrives?
No, we generally just do a little dirty protest and then run off. Because he's such a charismatic and powerful man.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't bring a lot of people, we cannot overwhelm his spectre.
Aura.
The aura of Wogan.
Yeah.
That has kept us spellbound as a nation. We're a couple of nations.
Absolutely.
For such a long while. Steve, let's ask you some polite questions.
Go on then.
All right, mate.
Yes, very good.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
Now, I see you on the telly the other day.
Yeah.
I was watching children's telly.
Why?
I don't think I've got a proper social life and I find it hard to form relationships.
Right.
So sometimes I find myself entrenched in childhood watching something
5
called...
o'clock, 6 o'clock slot does it.
I should be at work, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Like, I think I was going to go to work in a minute and I just was flicking through telly and then I see you. I thought, he's coming on our show. Let's watch this. You were carrying on like a right loon.
I know. It was one of those... No, I was just saying...
What is it?
It was a program called M.I. High, which is a little kids show which is about spy kids.
Right.
It's one of those shows when you watch, you go, that is the show I would want to be in as a kid. And they asked me to play
But you're a man.
Yeah, but they asked me to play a camp baddie.
You were good at that.
Oh, bless you.
You had a jewel around your neck and a tie in that, and you were an ex-pop star.
Yeah, and they dropped with it because they said the fitting for it was in Selfridges. I thought this will be a well-paid gig. And it was filming in Barking, and then they made you take the tube there, which was nice.
They made you take the tube to Barking.
To Barking.
That was my whole life for a while, taking the tube to Barking.
It's horrible. You just want to take the tube out of Barking. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Lovely show. Really good. It was a really, really nice
It seemed like a right laugh.
Yeah.
So that performing with children, that we just had a fella on the line who was, he's called Jeff. He's out doing a panto in Toulouse. He needs advice.
None of that makes sense.
None of it?
No.
What do you mean, the expat community?
Yeah, well, mate, we're doing a panto because the worst time to do panto is because they often stop them at the beginning of January because it's those 2-3 weeks that they used to run into to the end of January, which were really depressing. He's starting one midway through January in front of expats. How many expats in Toulouse?
He said... I don't know.
How many performances? 5 performances?
I think it was half a dozen.
Well, how big's the theatre?
It's in his garage, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It's not. It's in a theatre.
Right. Let's say, 300 people a night?
If it's lucky.
Yeah, 1,500 people.
Are you saying this endeavour is futile? Because it was giving that man hope.
And he was hoping a director was going to come and see him?
Steve, I think you were needlessly attacking him. Up till now, we'd all assumed was a...
Why was he on tonight?
Yeah, he'd just come off stage, probably for the last time after that damning indictment.
No. I just don't understand. But where did he see the advert?
He's just doing it for a laugh, I think. Yeah, he's a real man. I think Jeff's a real man.
Of course he's real.
Is he on some kind of door split for it?
I don't think he's doing it for the money.
It's amateur dramatics.
It's Amdram.
He's just doing it for love, Steve. Remember that when you was a star-crossed young actor?
Still doing
it for the love?
Yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Like then.
That's very odd.
Now give him some advice other than pack it all in.
Well, better advice than get your knob out.
I don't know if there is any better advice than that, given the circumstances.
I was in a very serious production at college, and because when we were doing drama at college, and they did the girls in the group did a really, Carol Churchill, Top Girls, very heavyweight group, like 8 women around a table, feminists from around, from through the ages, all conversing and very heavy, dialogue heavy. And my friend and I were asked to help out just to play the waiters for this scene, and it was very, very boring. And each time we came on with bigger and bigger moustaches,
to entertain yourselves,
but made out of gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape moustaches, that's difficult. The removal's difficult. It's unhygienic,
but it's slightly pleasurable.
You got off on it?
Yeah, a little bit.
That little moment. Did you have any facial hair at that time?
Yeah.
Right, so I suppose that's going to add
but
to
very
the pain.
fair, of course.
Of course, you were a very fair man, both morally and in terms of implementation.
but not in terms of certainly not in terms of performance. So
what I would have done, Steve, if I may be so bold, is during that play, while there was all that heady dialogue going on, women sat around a table, she used a little trick that I like to call the newsreader trick. What you do is you imagine yourself under that table performing what I can only describe as a sex act. Get you right through that play in no time. And also you wouldn't need that gaffer tape moustache neither, let me tell you.
And it works in huge heavyweight feminist tract like
I think a big feminist tract is ultimately where you're going to end up. So Steve, I think I always know you as Lenny Beige and that, but you're getting dragged into that advert thing, aren't you? Mostly.
Yeah, well, I've been in it for a few years. I'm getting out of it now as well.
Are you?
We had that gravy train is grinding to a halt.
It's the one that comes on the cinema when you go to the cinema. We can say it's BBC Orange. It's Orange adverts. Other phones are available.
But it's not really an advert. It just tells you to turn your phone off. And we just did the next 4. One with Michael Madsen and one with Mina Suvari and one with Macaulay Culkin.
Nice.
And one with Val Kilmer.
And Darth Vader.
No, that was the old one.
Oh.
But Val Kilmer, very puffy.
Wow.
What, puffy?
Puffy.
Really?
And quite and just a little bit strange.
Why? Go on, Steve. What was
his
like?
breathing? Oh, no, his face.
What's going on about Darth Vader?
No, but
Val
Kilmer.
You know, because he obviously he was famous also because he played Morrison, so he's done the Lizard King. He does kind of have the complexion of a lizard. Right. He lives on a farm or a ranch. They always it's that when the line between reality and their kind of film world blurs completely. And you go, that is you. Michael Madsen was exactly the same.
Michael Madsen was his on-screen persona.
Yeah,
that's what he had become.
Yeah, he's like, I live in a house with 6 boys, and we all drive bikes.
Sounds
big bikes.
Sexy.
Yeah, but it is, and he is sexy, and I'm fascinated by that. Where it just that line is so blurred that is what they are.
That's there is no distinction between on-screen persona and their actual reality. Yeah. This is what I discovered with Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher is the living embodiment of what you think Liam Gallagher would be like. Sort of sexually charismatic, swaggering, intense character.
Stupid.
I will never. I've got to present the Brits in a couple of weeks, and 2 in. I don't want him swaggering on that stage.
I've been heckled by bread rolls by the Gallagher brothers.
That's not even a language, is it? That's a physical object. Heckles are meant to be words. He used bread rolls to heckle
through the medium of yeast. No,
again, another theme of this show. I thought Liam Gallagher actually was lovely and charming.
He is really charming. Yeah.
Very lovely, sexy boy. I'm sure he would like that. So they heckled you with roles.
They heckled me with roles. Yeah, we were doing this was a long time ago when we did the Brat Awards, which was as it was which was the NME Awards when they first started, and it was when it was at the Camden Institute at that big building on the Euston Road, not far from here, and they didn't like us as a warm-up act.
What were you doing, Lenny Beige?
Yeah, not surprisingly, they didn't like me, but
because it's sort of like an ironic lounge singer.
Well, yeah. But also, it was a lounge singer that kind of knew what was going on now through his son, and so he was very aware of pop culture now.
Yeah.
It wasn't completely entrenched in kind of yesteryear. It was.
Did they have a go at you then?
Yeah.
With a role?
Yeah. A barrage of roles, exactly. Yeah.
Someone had to do it. So, okay, so really, you've had a negative experience with those crazy guys, and you're going to bring back Lenny Beige, though, aren't you?
I am. Well, he's just like kind of a fragrant gentleman that lives in the attic, and I thought, you can't really ignore him.
That's an unusual metaphor, Steve, because I don't know many people that have that. When you've got a fragrant gentleman up in your attic, if it ever happens to me, I'll be right up in my loft.
Just staying alive, and
the smell's very nice, but would you leave?
No, it's not a nice fragrance.
Oh, really?
No, it's that wig kind of does hum a little bit.
Yeah.
But I loved doing him for so many years, and I thought, well, I was good at it, and the last time I saw you, I was doing him.
Yeah, we did a gig at the Comedy Store, didn't we? And I watched you transform from yourself into Lenny Beige. I liked it, watching a fella transform. Oh, yeah.
It's like drag, but without having to pull your balls between
your legs, which I would have done anyway if I were you, regardless of what character I'm playing. I've got mine there now. Tell you the truth, it just gets me through the night. Right, what should we have a listen to, Mafu?
De La Soul?
Why not? De La Soul, yeah. Let's have a listen. What, 3 is the magic number? That?
Yeah.
This is your attempt at contemporary music. That's when we were children.
We played Hey Ya. That's 2 years old.
We've got our fingers on the pulse here.
You played Woody Guthrie earlier.
Listen, that guy got a guitar. Listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2. I'm here with my usual pals and Steve first. You alright, Steve?
Yeah. Do you ever tire of standing?
Never.
No?
Well, yeah, at night I'll have a good lay down.
Do you have any chairs?
Go on for 8 hours sometimes, just there doing literally nothing. My mind full of things that ain't even happened and ne'er will neither. Just swimming around, icons of the day, residue of the week, trying to make sense of it all. Right, Steve, now we're going to help other people with their little problems and stuff. Now, earlier on we spoke to a lady, she was called Janet. She had a problem with the temperature of yeast when she was trying to make wine. Now, Jeff from Toulouse said go and buy some booze down a supermarket. For me, misunderstanding the mystery and joys of home brewing, which is something I actually know nothing about. No. But, you know, if Janet wants to do this and she's got a problem with the temperature of her bloody yeast, then we are by duty bound as gentlemen to help her. I think her husband's on the blower. Are you there, mate?
Hello, Russell.
Why did you take that sharp intake of breath as soon as the conversation began? What are you up to?
Bloody Russell, I'm cold.
You're cold, mate?
According to Mrs, I've got a standout ear until you says otherwise.
OK, what's your name, first of all?
My name's Simon Russell. No, it's not Simon Russell, it's Simon.
No, he's an actor.
Your name's Russell, you know that.
Yeah, I'm well aware of my own identity. Now, are you in the garden?
I'm still outside the front door at the moment. We've got a bucket outside the
back door. Is in a bucket,
door.
Is it?
Yes, it's fermenting bin. Well, posh name. It's fermenting bin, load of wine in it, trying to get the temperature down. I want to know where I can go back indoors.
Well, and you're guarding the wine, are you?
Well, I was. I'm now stuck around to the front door so I could ring you up.
I don't know why your wife is making you guard this wine. What kind of area do you live in? I can't imagine that people, like, if you live in a neighbourhood where people are stealing wine from out of a bin, then like, you want to...
You know what Saturday night's like? You're not going to leave your keys in your car, are you?
No, but I think that's different from leaving wine in a garden. Now, come on, let's have a look at your marriage. I think there's another reason for this, for your wife, Janet, making you stay. Look, I think that this whole... Can I be honest with you? Is this whole home brewing trying to make up for deep flaws in your marriage?
I don't know. All I can think of is...
Are you happy?
She does a load of proofreading for students at the local universities, and so she has a lot of dealings with them during the week when I'm at work.
What do you think these dealings are? Romantic?
Pardon?
Romantic or sexual dealings?
I don't know.
Right.
All I know, she says she's checking the stuff that they produce.
Right, well, that sounds very worrying.
And that.
OK, well, Steve First's here. He's one of the finest comedy character actors in this country. If he can't help you, I wouldn't be remotely surprised.
I've got a warm jacket, I'm all right.
What kind of wine is it?
I'll tell out here. It's supposed to be white wine, dry.
Dry white wine.
OK, and all right. I know nothing about the production of wine. I don't know who these students are that are producing this wine.
Not do I.
Are they crushing the grapes? Where are the grapes
it's made out of powder. It's made out of powder, isn't it? I bet someone pours some powder. It's not like a lovely natural thing.
I'll tell you, there's a little shop where I live in Hastings, a home brewing shop called Bung Ho.
That's quite nice.
Bung Ho.
Well, like what, you bung it up?
118. Phone Bung Ho. They'll know.
Hold on. Well, there's no need for that. And other directory services are available. What, mate?
Can I have a 25% cut of your commission as well?
Listen, stop seeing this as an opportunity to make money. You want to focus on your marriage, sir, if you don't mind my saying so. Now, I've got a text here from a gentleman called Nat. He says this: yeast can survive up to 42 degrees before becoming denaturated. Don't worry. Love to you all. Nat, who's like a wine saviour. He's just stepped in. Your wine is fine. Your wife's making you stand outside there so she can have hordes of students in there. And it wouldn't be yeast in your wine I'll be worried about. It'll be yeast in your wine. Oh, come on! It needed a shot in the arm. I provided it. Don't shoot me. What? I'm the bad guy. Watch Scarface. So, okay, listen. We've helped.
Would you do me a favour?
Of course I will, as long as it's not rude.
Tell my wife I need a warming up.
Listen, Janet, your husband. Is it Steve? Your name?
Simon.
Oh yeah, Simon Russell. I remember all that now. Simon, Janet, for God's sake, have sex, you pair. Get in that out. Janet, I want you to go up to bed. I want you to stop thinking about wine and start thinking about whining in a sexy way. Dear. Get up there, put on your nightie, and go, Simon, and then I want you two to make love like it's 1960 bloody 5. Get amongst it. No holds barred. Holds. I said holds. Just get into it. Get into each other. Enjoy each other's bodies, and then, you know, and if you have to drink a bin full of wine before you can do it, then drink that bin full of wine. But I urge you to orgasm, the pair of you, for heaven's sakes. That's my advice. Now make him hot till you both pass out, and the only temperature you're thinking about is the internal temperature, imploding and exploding. Now get in that house and make that woman happy, Simon. Will you?
Will do.
Let her have it. Give her both barrels.
Rescuing me.
No trouble at all. God bless you.
Cheers.
There you go, sir. See you, mate. It's another satisfied customer. Off he goes. There goes the best damn winemaker we've ever had on this show. I think he's going to be all right. Do you, Steve?
He should start drinking now.
Yeah, I would say so about now. Matt, do you think that was an all right situation there?
I can see why we haven't got a wine industry in this country now.
Why?
A lot of temperature, a lot of sex problems.
Were they in Leeds?
I don't know where they were.
Yeah, it was up north. There he was, in his pants, paddling in a bucket.
And I attack the people of the north. I love those guys.
They're nice guys in the north, but they don't know anything about wine.
How dare you!
I dare to say that the northerners know nothing about making wine.
That's the most disgusting thing you've ever said, Trevor Locke.
They're proud
the people of the north love wine. I'm an alcoholic, I don't drink
anymore.
They're
beer and whiskey men up in the north.
I don't know what they're up to, but I don't think you should be condemning them in this fashion.
I'm not condemning them.
Well,
it's a fact. The Romans made wine because the climate was different then.
Trevor! Stop trying to drag us into Countdown's dictionary corner with your tedious facts. Bless him, he's a lovely fella, really. All right, this radio show's nearly finished now, so there's probably a few things we should do. Not least, we'll get our poet laureate, that's Mr. G, one of the best poets in this effing country, to do a poem about what's been going on. Let's welcome him, Mr. G. That's not enough fake atmosphere.
This poem is self-improvement.
Excellent.
Self-improvement is an ongoing solution, recognising that which needs correcting to avoid all confusion, to avoid all debate as we inflate and deflate, trying to improve our core strength to improve our core state. Are you looking for a flatmate? Is your yeast temperature too great? Then go sculling with Trevor and watch his little eyes dilate. And Russell can't wait to witness this lesbian tryst as a lonely ice cream man in his van sends out sonar transmits. Nice. And expats enlist performing advice. Hendrix ex-girl drops quips of boring ass tripe. Such is life as we all look for answers. Self-improvement through home brewing is exuding good karma.
Mr. G!
He's very good.
Poetry, it's a war of words out there. We're changing the world. What a wonderful poem. That boy's gifted. Crikey.
Where'd you find him? He's brilliant.
He said, well, there he is. He said, we met in a little poetry night in a place called Brick's Tongue, it was called, because I used to sit in the toilets doing heroin and G would do poetry. But somehow we got along, you know. We found some common ground eventually. It certainly wasn't the poetry. No, it was G does not take heroin. Nor do I anymore. Bloody stuff. Evil, vicious drug. Right. It ruins lives, I tell you. Not mine. Right, okay, Steve, thank you. You've been a fantastic
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
What should we... Is there anything you want to plug? You can't just say, watch that thing on Kids Telly. Kids will do that anyway.
Annually retentive second series is coming. You're in that as well, aren't you?
Brilliant, yeah. That's good, that thing, with Rob Brydon.
Filming that at the moment. Thank you.
Wonderful news.
There you go.
Watch that thing. Matt, have you got anything you want to add? You're just going to sit there moping your way through life.
I'm very happy.
It's very comfortable. You're very kind of... You've got an air of gravitas about
Yes,
you.
you've got a lot of gravitas.
All the buttons over here.
All them buttons. You're going to carry on writing. I'll try and write a blog, but I'm very busy.
Please try.
Don't complain about Matt's... Well, your blogs are brilliantly written, but sometimes people want me to write a blog.
Say, why doesn't Russell write them?
Bloody well, have you turned on your telly?
Just phone me up.
I'm in the middle of an international storm.
I know.
Trying to hold my life together.
I've kicked in my telly. Phone me up and dictate something to me.
All right then, I certainly will.
For once.
Matthew, please, for Christ's sake, what's going on? I'm frightened, I'm lonely. Who are these people in my house? What does girlfriend mean? Hello, Matthew, why you sound like a robot? Give me a kiss. Trevor, are you all right, dear?
Yes, I'm all right. I'm very all right. Thanks very much. Yeah.
It's been nice today. Well, perhaps we'll call it Dictionary Corner always.
Yeah,
okay.
Give him a dictionary.
Have a dictionary.
I don't like
provide
dictionaries.
some content to this bloody show.
I think the dictionary is a symbol of oppression.
Trevor Locke
there he goes, trying to ruin the vibe. Okay, so thanks to everyone who's contributed. If we've not helped you with your problems yet, by God, we certainly will. And the biggest problem of all, how to realise the God within us all, we'll solve that week by Jingo.
On a gym ball.
On a what? On a gym ball. Don't you undermine my workouts. Okay, let's go to Andrea Simmons. Andrea, could you try and use the word flummox? Could she do that in the news? Of course she bloody well could. She's the best damn newsreader on these islands. Call 0500. No, don't call 0500. I've just got a bit of paper where it says do proper beer radio presenter stuff. It says phone numbers on it. It's 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC.
BBC Radio 2. Russell Brand.